There was a time when I believed the greatest thing missing from my life was a father. I watched other kids throw footballs with their dads, receive advice before big decisions, and celebrate milestones with the man they called their hero. I smiled as if it didn't bother me, but inside, there was a question that echoed through my childhood. What was wrong with me? Why wasn't my father here? Was I not worth staying for? Those questions became invisible baggage that I carried into my teenage years and adulthood. I didn't just grow up without a father. I grew up without a blueprint. I had to learn manhood through observation, failure, heartbreak, and determination. Looking back now, I realized something extraordinary. While I grew up without a father in my home, I never had to live without hope in my heart. The absence that once felt like my greatest weakness eventually became the place where my greatest strength was born. These are the 10 steps that transformed my pain into purpose. Step 10. I stopped asking, why wasn't he there? For years, I replayed the same painful question. Every birthday, every holiday, every Father's Day reminded me of what I didn't have. Then one day I realized that no answer could give me back the childhood I had already lived. I stopped allowing unanswered questions to steal today's opportunities. Instead of living in yesterday's disappointment, I chose to invest in tomorrow's possibilities. That single decision gave me back my future. Step 9. I refused to let bitterness become my identity. There was a season when anger felt easier than healing. I blamed my father for everything I struggled with. While some of that pain was understandable, I realized bitterness was quietly becoming another absent father. It kept stealing moments I could never get back. I chose forgiveness, not because everything was okay, but because I refused to let someone else's absence continue controlling my life. Step 8. I found mentors instead of excuses. I stopped waiting for one man to fill every empty space in my life. Instead, I learned from coaches, teachers, pastors, uncles, older friends, and men whose lives reflected the character I admired. One taught me discipline, another taught me integrity, another taught me leadership. I discovered that wisdom often comes from many voices, not just one. Step 7. I read the books my father never had the chance to teach me. Since I couldn't ask the questions I wanted answered, I searched for them elsewhere. I read about leadership, responsibility, finances, relationships, communication, and emotional maturity. Every book became another conversation I never had growing up. Knowledge slowly replaced confusion, and confidence replaced uncertainty. Step 6. I took responsibility for my own healings. There came a day when I realized I could spend the rest of my life explaining my pain, or I could begin overcoming it. My childhood explained some of my struggles, but it didn't have to become my lifelong excuse. I started counseling difficult emotions through prayer, honest conversations, and personal growth. Healing became my responsibility, not because the wound was my fault, but because my future was. Step 5. I learned that strength is not the absence of emotion. Growing up, I thought being a man meant hiding feelings. Eventually, I realized real strength looks different. Real strength apologizes, real strength forgives, real strength cries when necessary and still gets back up. I stopped trying to become emotionally hard and started becoming emotionally healthy. Step 4. I built the character I once wanted to borrow. I used to envy people who had fathers teaching them life's lessons. Then I realized I could become the man I had always needed. I practiced honesty when lying seemed easier. I kept promises when breaking them was convenient. I became dependable because I understood what it felt like when someone wasn't. Character became the inheritance I chose to build for myself. Step 3. I decided the cycle would end with me. This became deeply personal. I looked at the generations before me and realized that pain often repeats until someone decides to interrupt it. I made a promise that if I ever became a father, my children would never question whether they were loved. I would be present. I would listen. I would encourage. I would protect. I couldn't rewrite my childhood, but I could absolutely influence someone else's. Step 2. I discovered my identity was bigger than my family history. For years, I believed my future would inevitably resemble my past. Then I realized I was allowing my family history to predict my destiny. I stopped introducing myself through what I lacked and started introducing myself through what I was becoming. My circumstances described where I started, not where I was going. Step 1. I finally understood that my Heavenly Father had never left me. This was the moment everything changed. I had spent years grieving the father I didn't have while overlooking the father who had been present all along. if your faith is central to your life, this truth changes everything. I came to believe that God had seen every lonely birthday, every unanswered question, every silent tear, and every moment I wondered if I mattered. I discovered that my earthly story did not have the final word. I was loved, guided, and given purpose that no human absence could erase. That realization filled spaces in my heart I once believed would remain empty forever. Today, when I look back at the boy who grew up in a fatherless home, I don't see someone destined to fail. I see someone who learned resilience earlier than most. I see someone who discovered compassion because he understood pain. I see someone who became intentional because he knew what absence felt like. My greatest wound became one of my greatest teachers. Growing up without a father shaped me, but it did not define me. It taught me that family is more than biology. Love is more than words. Manhood is more than strength. True masculinity is found in responsibility, humility, courage, integrity, and sacrificial love. I learned that you can inherit pain without passing it on. You can acknowledge brokenness without becoming broken yourself. If my journey has taught me anything, it is this: your beginning does not have to become your ending. You are not limited by the home you came from. You are empowered by the choices you make today. Every act of kindness, every disciplined decision, every promise you keep, and every life you positively influence becomes proof that cycles can be broken. I didn't overcome a fatherless home by pretending it never hurt. I overcame it by refusing to let its absence determine the man I would become. And somewhere along that journey, I realized the greatest legacy isn't the one you inherit, it's the one you choose to leave behind. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to the Digital Mentor 777 via YouTube.